Welcome back to Heroic Book Adventures. I'm Steve, and I have one more entry to put in for Indie Author August. I know it's September 1st, but I had contracted one of those hard-hitting summer colds that just set me back like a week in my video making, so here we are. But I chose Kayleigh Dobbs The End. And Kayleigh is another fellow booktuber. Her channel is named Happy Goat Horror. If you are a fan of horror, you have to go watch that channel. Just a warning though, like she is going to cost you some money because like me myself, I have a number of books that I recently went out of my way to go track down and purchase after she talked about them. She is a true expert on the horror genre. And I think she has one of my favorite booktube intros because it's named Happy Goat Horror, and she says dark bleedings, everybody. So every time she says it, it brings a smile to my face because it's just perfect. So The End was published in 2023 by Black Shuck Books, and they're an indie publisher out of the UK. I love that name because the Black Shuck is like a ghostly dog that roams the countryside in English folklore. So that's really cool. So this is part of their Black Shuck Shadow series. This is actually number 35. So each volume takes a different author and showcases a number of their short stories. So this is a collection of 6 of her short stories in it. So the first one, titled The Claim They Stake, is about a man who not only believes that the reptilian aliens have infiltrated humanity, but that the old man living across the street is one of them. So is he just off his meds and watching too many conspiracy theory websites like his wife insists? Or does the man across the street really shed his human costume and bask under heat lamps in his bedroom? The second one's called Just Like Baking, where these 4 witches are getting together and doing an incantation on a dark, stormy night to bind an entity. It gets disrupted when one of the girls gets a call from her mother who is insisting that she let her little sister come and be part of the incantation as well. And this younger sister doesn't seem to be taking things as seriously as she should be. And you know, when you're part of an incantation and you don't do things the way you're supposed to be, there could be disastrous consequences. The third one is called Catch Fire. And this couple is going to the wife's sister's house. Now, it's been a toxic relationship with the sister forever. Like she was took part in ruining their wedding, and she's always looking for money and always causing problems in the family. So he's like, you know, we should not be here. You should just totally throw her to the side. And she's like, yeah, I know you're probably right, but she's my sister, and it sounds like this time she's genuine and wants to make amends. But when they go into the apartment, there's a group of other people in there that are real shady individuals, and you can just tell things are not quite right. The fourth one is called Dead, and this one's my personal favorite because this woman comes to and she realizes she is a ghost that just left her body, and she's looking down at her body, which is bleeding out on the floor from a bite out of her neck. And she starts thinking back to, well, how did I get here? Well, she was working down in the cellar and coming through the dirt floor, and an arm came through, and she's like, oh, somebody's stuck down there, and went to help them out. Well, it turns out that person was a zombie that bit her. So she's like, okay. And all of a sudden, that body starts reanimating. She's like, oh no, I'm a zombie now. And then right at that moment, her husband walks in the door to discover her, and he leaves the front door open. And it's funny because here it is. She watches like this series of domino zombie attacks happen without being able to do anything about it. And she's just like, well, isn't this just wonderful? The fifth story, Omega, is about a flock that follows this pastor, and they've always believed in him. And then today, he contacts all of them and says, today's the day. It's the end times, and we're going to be taken away in the rapture. As events start unfolding, though, they realize he's not quite right today, and the events going on are not quite right either. And then the final one, The End, is about the end and caps all the rest of the stories off. So the first four stories weren't so much scary as they were like a real dark humor. If you've ever watched the Cabin in the Woods movie, where it like kind of plays with a lot of horror tropes and has some fun with it, that's how those first four stories were, and I was having some good fun with them. And then the last two stories actually get really bleak and nihilistic. And I was a little bit taken aback by it, because when you watch Kayleigh's channel, you know, she's just like a cool chick. And then she drops that ultra bleak stuff on the reader, and it's like, okay, I'm never going to look at her the same way ever again. But I've said it before that when it comes to reading horror, I want at the end for the author to drop the guillotine on me. Like when you finish a horror book and you set it down, you should feel uncomfortable. That is the point of the genre. So she totally nailed that. I would go as far as to say that this is just not good for an indie author. These stories are just good. Okay, her writing style was so clever and witty, and she just weaves in irony here and there effortlessly, and it was so smooth, easy to read, and enjoyable. I thought this was superb. I'm giving this an 8.5 out of 10, which is very high marks for me. So if you are a horror reader, this is absolutely worth the time, I feel like. And to the rest of you heroes, I will not be seeing you in any other further adventures because the end is nigh.